So Jeep Ride would be my favorite all-time contribution to Call of Duty. Um, and the reasons being that it would be the last level that I would work on both geometry and scripting for, or gameplay scripting. So I got this level and it was a block out plus a small description and pretty much go do the vehicle chase because I was the vehicle guy. I had done vehicle chase for Call of Duty 1, and so this would be the first time I got to return to that after doing a bunch of tank drive missions for Call of Duty 2. This was really cool to go back to. Um, so I'm trying not to talk about the geometry stuff because I'm selling like that I'm a more of a gameplay engineer nowadays, but a lot of this stuff was really cool to me. The engine wasn't really made to go to be expansive. It was kind of built off of the Quake engine once upon a time, and we'd done a lot of work to make it expand, but it's still like not so much the engine, but tooling to be able to work on all of this stuff at this scale was really hard. So what I ended up doing is building a script and to place all the models, and this was done in game, to place all these little bushes on the side and trees and all that stuff. I created a script called Painter, and it was like it would draw a little circle on the ground, and you could expand and contract it, and just sort of like aim. You use the gamepad to go around and draw this stuff, and it was kind of like feeling like Bob Ross drawing happy little trees all over the place, and yeah, and that one was a one-off script I wrote just for this level, and it marked the first time I was really starting to feel like the tools engineer in me, and that's what I was doing last year when I finished working on Call of Duty or Infinity War. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to rewind this because I talk a lot about art here too. So in the background, you see this. Let's see if I can get a good view. That mountain back there. Let's just go back. Yeah, sorry. This mountain back here is something I'm kind of proud of. Is like I went out above and beyond my mapper duties and decided to take on a little bit of art, and drew that from USGS data on a mountain that's visible from my hometown, Mount Hood in Oregon. While the shape here might not be that, I was able to generate a normal map and all that stuff to get the lighting to play on there. We could do like a little bit of dynamic lighting, and if you shifted the light, you could see all the details of the mountain come out. So I was pretty proud of that. Also, these trees, I had done my little Bob Ross thing, and we're seeing a lot of like the pop of the LOD on these, and then coming to realize we don't really need a million models out here, and so I made these cards which involved like setting the trees against the backdrop and getting the alpha map out. Stuff you didn't know about me. In my history, I did some artwork, and I'll probably do a reel on those, but I'm not really trying to upsell that stuff because I'm so far removed from doing art. The last game I did any geometry on was Modern Warfare 2, and I didn't do any scripting, so that probably won't show on these videos. So let's go back, scrub back to the beginning, and I can just go ahead and talk about gameplay elements now. So in the beginning here on this section, we had a lot of issues with the player, just this coming down in this jarring change of view, and I was one-upping probably 10-upping the Jeep, the truck ride from COD4 by adding like these extra cars, civilian cars, and all this stuff. The player was kind of not knowing what to look at, and it was pretty frustrating at first. I think we might not have had dialogue in the game, and so the answer to that is just add dialogue. And even after we added dialogue, I've seen a lot of players struggle with this, and but we worked it out. And it's kind of, sometimes when you see a player struggle the first time, you have to just let it play out. Like, okay, sometimes the player has to like get in a different situation and understand that it's time to pay attention. Like, you have to listen to the cues and do the things, and this kind of worked out. You would see a lot of players die here, and it was okay. It was like, wake up, player, it's time to listen. He's telling you there's an enemy at your 6 o'clock is behind the Jeep. So once the player engaged, they typically would get into it and start doing stuff. So yeah, you see all the civilian cars mixed in. That was a really cool new aspect of it. And the truck guys, I really like these truck guys because I didn't have to do much to them. They were just attached to a point on the car, and they were doing their AI thing. Now, I had to write a little bit of hacks for this, because the AI in the game will lose a little bit of accuracy when you move around, when you like push the control stick and you're actually actively running around. Their percentage of hits will diminish. When you're on the truck, you're not moving the stick, and you're not actually moving around. The truck's moving you around, and there was nothing in place to handle that as far as the AI were concerned. So I'd kind of have to like jiggle it. And I didn't write bugs to engineers about the AI or anything, because this is very one-off, and it was kind of like this in all the games, and I learned how to manipulate the accuracy, and the difficulty scale on here is kind of custom. So another cool thing I'm really proud of is this truck junk. I call it truck junk in the scripts, and when you shoot these little panels, they would fly off. And this was a cool new toy that was available in Modern Warfare, which was like physics. And physics were like, once you applied a physics from our script sandbox, the physics were released. You couldn't do anything more with that object. So, but it was really fun to play with, and you had these little panels that would disrupt your view, and you'd shoot them and they pop off, and I think they bounced on the road really cool. So that was a fun thing to play with. But yeah, those guys, I have a custom death animation. They kind of like very much fall straight down, so we don't see them do anything, and then they just disappear in the car. A big thing I wrestle with a lot with the vehicles and the AIs. There's no physics for AIs on vehicles at this point. I don't know if there is nowadays, but we would use death animations to cover those. So you get to see all things that I worked on throughout the game, the helicopters and all that make an appearance, and uh, here is something that I'm kind of proud of, but kind of looking back and going, wow, man, it was crazy doing all this work. Like this car, it loses all of its junk, and then there's sparks on the wall. You can see those sparks down there. It's like complex physics simulation, but really this is just me animating the thing, and then I attached a bunch of points to it and fire out traces in the script. So when the points hit, the traces hit the wall, there's a spark that happens. This isn't natively supported in the game, so it was just kind of had a budget. Now this would be really heavy to do in real time, so I was experimenting with ways to export those. So, and gosh, I have a lot to talk about. And in this game, I was also helping with some of the in-game based tools. Sometimes it was easier to do a tool in the game script and get that information out and then apply it to some kind of game file or whatever. Examples of things that I did early was the post effects. We had like film color effects. We could change the color grading and all that stuff. And we had an in-game graphics interface to like slider bars that you could slide and change the colors and see the effect of the values being changed. But that was the extent of the implementation. You could see the change, and then the artists were expected to go to a config file and then just update that value in the config file. And seeing this, I recognized it was kind of cumbersome, and so I wrote a script called Create Art, which was kind of one of the first instances where we did this. And you would just, instead of running through that, you'd run this Create Art script, and you'd have all the sliders, and then you could say hit the export button, and it would just dump the whole config into a file on the computer. At this time, I think we were all working on dev kits, so it was kind of cool. You would be on the Xbox 360 dev kit, dumping config files to the PC, and I was author of a tool on the log file watcher that we had on the PC. I kind of made this hack to make it so that we could print from console to the PC and get those things. So long story short, hopefully this was a heavy duty script, so I would log all those points into a file, and then that would make it so that I didn't have to do all those bullet traces through the script VM, and hopefully speed it up a little bit. So it ended up looking like, wait this time, play the spark, wait this time, play the spark, since this was a static animation and it was the same every time. So yeah, small thing, and this is my level, and so there's a lot of things that I like to talk about. You have the RPG guy coming up here. He's going to threaten you, and lots of dialogue about the RPG and make sure he's dead. Again, civilian cars, they would generally kind of try to pull out of the way, because that's a lot to make dynamic. This is the same script from Call of Duty 1, and so what would happen if you killed a car? You could kill it at any point in the path. So I had all of these little what I called crash paths that would kind of go off the road, and so I had to do a little animation for each point of the car. So it's kind of why you see if you see a car just go off the road, it's kind of badly animated. That's me doing we had a type of vehicle node that would take away the physics, and so we could then take the vehicle and do keyframes and make it go down, and the keyframes were done in the level editor. So yeah. So again, you have helicopters and things. I worked a lot on those, and epic explosion, that was with work with the effects guy. And there's those beautiful mountains. This is pretty cool. I don't know if you really notice this, but each one of these pillars are kind of have a unique, there's like 3 or 4 unique pillar models and destruct modes. So like you see one that has like the hole, and these ones just blow off the stuff with the rebar in the middle. That's all, you know, my work crafting out what they look like and how they shoot it up. So, and then you see another one of my silly animations. So getting to the end of this, I say like a lot of this level is my work, but this is where things kind of get really collaborative, and you have team meetings and everybody getting together and deciding what to do. This is I came up with this, like, you're gonna crash and come on the destructed thing, and I had fun building all these, and then I just wanted this to ooze with detail because you were going to be close up on it, and so I had an environment artist come in and help out do all this cool rebar stuff. A lot of trickery involved here because moving models don't really, they miss kind of some of the details. Like, I think if I remember, it was like if you shoot it you wouldn't get a decal, so I ended up making like the geometry in its resting state. I put some extra like decal materials down there that would be there statically anyways. All kinds of hackery going on to get this scene to work. Just because it was something that was outside of the box, and I really liked engaging outside of the box stuff in my missions. The square peg does fit in a round hole. You just have to like push it in there harder. So there you have the fast ropes coming into play, an excellent way to introduce enemies. I talked about that in one of my other videos. This is really cool defend sequence. Like, these guys are coming in. The kind of old school way to bring them in was just come in on cars, and I have a Call of Duty 2 mission I want to talk about in another video. Was another defense sequence I worked on. So I definitely want to make this sequence really hard to get through. It's the final battle, and sequence is not my creativity at display. This is a result of many of us sitting down at a meeting, and lots of arm flailing and saying this is how it should go down, and this and this and this. What happens? What and then, you know, it's really fun to see your peers kind of acting out these parts, and and then he's gonna look over here, and there's Captain Price, and he's hurt, and he doesn't have the right shot, so he's gonna throw you his gun, but I got to do the scripting for this, and that was really cool. One of the things that's happening here that I can talk about is, you see this jitter that's happening. Let's pause here so I can talk. There's a jitter that's happening here, and it's working with the aftershock stuff that we have that makes things kind of motion blurry and all that stuff. That wasn't intentional. We would learn a little bit about floating point precision, and this point of the map is on the very edge. So we took this traverse and went all the way across the whole grid and got to the end, and so we played this out on the very edge of the map, and come to find out, when you get farther away from the origin, you lose precision due to the way that floating point numbers work, and so the animations would all get a little bit of a jitter to them. It's information that would be nice to appreciate at the start of the thing. Maybe we could make it circle back into the center. And spoiler alert, I worked on the end of Modern Warfare 2 also, and I'll talk about that, how we learned from this and applied it to Modern Warfare 2. But I mean, we kind of said, oh, that's kind of a cool effect. It's extra on top of the what's going on. But it would also kind of affect some of these other details, and it was just a little rough. But faster ups again, those are things that I worked on a lot individually. But I think that one it might actually have been dynamic. I watched the remaster recently, and thought, wow, they hit all the points that I wanted to hit on this. That model wasn't looking so hot, and I think I actually strung together some ropes here, and this is not an artist's doing. I don't remember. I think, and so when you watch the remaster, you see all the details of the rope, the knots and things, and it's really cool. And I actually started to look up these videos, and I was like, wow, this game really held up. And I realized it wasn't my rose-colored glasses coming to life, it was the remaster. But okay, I think that's another reason that this is one of my favorites, is because it kind of sparked a lot. I executed a lot of I want to get outside of the box and do other things to contribute to Call of Duty as a whole. And so a lot of the building the Bob Ross painter tool in here and doing the post effects and all of these things really started here. I was also manager of the scripters tool, I guess pipeline, how they would write scripts. I set up the text editor that we had at the time to do syntax highlighting, and before I wrote a special tool to configure the editor for it, we had long wiki pages that were hard to go through, and I was writing this tool and standardizing the setup for all the scripters. And after this game, that really kind of developed more. We got an IDE from a different studio that I began to like attach myself to developing and putting all the Infinity Ward features into that. I built a search a script search tool for the game, and helped people find script really fast, and really was wanting to improve how the everybody worked on the game. And so that all started kind of here. Try not to talk too much about the personal stuff. I'm telling my complete story on my Storytime series. I am only up to like 2001 when I worked on Medal of Honor, and I hope to get to that, but right now I'm trying to do gameplay programming, promote myself in that way. But this is where that started, where I wanted to get behind the team and help them do stuff too, and share the efforts. Yeah, I'm not sorry for taking a lot of time to talk on this one in particular. It's my favorite, and thank you for taking the time to watch it. Stay tuned for more. I got quite a few missions that I've accumulated that I've worked on over the years. 25 years of game development. So many of the early years are geometry stuff, so I'm trying to stick to the gameplay things. Thanks for watching.